I want to talk about something that I don't know if this has a name. I watch a lot of game development content. I'm not a game developer, but I watch a lot of Game Maker's Toolkit and stuff like that. And I haven't seen this as a named phenomenon, but it's something I really, really like in a game. It's something that puts a game from being like fun or enjoyable up into, oh wow, this is one of my favorite games. And it's really simple. But when something big happens, a big set piece thing, whatever, it can be very general here, but it doesn't take away control, it doesn't cutscene, or I mean, I guess cutscene is the way to say it. It doesn't cut away, take away control, and say, ooh, look how cool this thing is. You're just playing, and then something big and cool happens, and you can react to it. I feel like it happened to me in a way that just isn't possible with a cutscene. It always feels like, oh, well, I'm just sitting here with a controller, and the controller doesn't do anything. I don't want to hit any buttons because I might skip the cool cutscene. It's a very different state of mind than just like, oh, whoa, what was that? What? How should I react to that? Do I need to react to this? Because starting a cutscene just really communicates, I don't need to do anything right now. The cutscene is going to fade to black, and then I have to do something. So in that cognitive way, it just detracts from the immediacy of that experience. So what made me think of this is I was playing Astro recently. I played that at a friend's house who has a PlayStation 5. And early on, I think it's like the second level, minor spoilers. The level starts, there's a little bit of a path, and then it kind of looks like a dead end. You get to the end of the path, and this giant robot gorilla like tackles a building in front of you and knocks it over. There's destruction. And then new platforms rise up, and you're able to continue. And so very simply, they've directed your attention to this area of the screen. You're not going to have the camera facing the wrong way, and done a really cool thing. It wasn't immediately affecting me in the way that I said, but because it wasn't a cutscene, is more memorable, I think. It was very visceral reaction of like, whoa, I'm glad I was looking that way. Other notable examples are all of Valve's single-player games, at least. I don't know about all of Valve's games, but Portal and Portal 2, like the entirety of Portal 2. Portal 2 is just the game. I don't know what this thing that I'm describing is. That's part of why I want to make a video. Maybe somebody else knows the term for this. But all throughout Portal, you always have control over at least the camera. There's like a few parts where physical movement is restricted. You're stuck in an elevator or whatever. But almost the entire time. It's not just that it's continuous. It's not just that time never cuts. Although that is cool too. That is another thing that I value. Another very, very famous example is beginning of Dark Souls. Near the beginning of Dark Souls, you're walking up onto the bridge, like it's a little bit of a blind hill that you can't see over, and then there's a dragon, and it like stomps on the bridge in front of you and flies away, and you can see where it lands. And it feels like, whoa, that could have just killed me if I was running a little faster. I don't know if it's even possible to get hit by the dragon, but it really communicates. If you didn't already know by that point, I need to be on my toes. I need to walk slowly and look around, and it sets the tone for the rest of that game. I think that's a very underrated part of Dark Souls. Those are the ones that really come to my mind. I would say Psychonauts 2 is close. It really does have a lot of cutscenes, but they're more seamlessly integrated. They're very quick cuts. And Metroid Dread also has kind of it doesn't even skip a frame getting into the cutscene, which I think helps a lot. There's that, there's almost always like a 1 or 2 frame just hitch when a cutscene starts that is perceptible, and it's enough to just slightly take me out of the experience. I think it's because, I think there actually is a good reason for this, because if there's any kind of temporal anti-aliasing happening, then that system needs a few frames to work from so that it can anticipate what the next frame might be. That's what temporal means. It's working through time, so it needs a few frames to work with. So the game engine starts rendering the next scene 1 or 2 frames before you actually get to see it because of that. This is a different thing. But as far as games that don't take away control for big set piece moments, in the comments, do you have any suggestions for me? Oh, Outer Wilds. I forgot to say Outer Wilds. Doesn't have any cutscenes. The entire game is a seamless 22-minute experience. I don't think it ever even shifts your view. I think you're always in control of the camera and or your body, pretty much. Maybe the ending, there's some stuff that's more constrained there. But the vast majority of it, there's just planets falling apart and you know, big set pieces that are completely in-engine, completely seamless with the gameplay. So if you have any other suggestions like that, I definitely want to hear it. I definitely want to play more games like this. It's not that I hate every game that has cutscenes. I don't dislike cutscenes. Cutscenes are just movies, and I love movies and films, and that's its own kind of art form. But this is something that really pushes a game over for me. Like I said, it pushes me from good to great, or from great to amazing, depending on the game. So I am actively collecting recommendations, but I don't know how to search for it, because I don't know the term for just a cutscene that's not a cutscene, or in-engine cutscene, but that can also just be a technical thing, that it's not pre-rendered to a movie file, that it's out of your control but still in the engine. You know? What's the word for this? Anyway, thanks for listening. I'll catch you on the next one.